السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. Welcome Junior 4 students from all over Egypt. This is Mr. Ibrahim Gamal and this is our first session in our English course in the second term 2026. Okay, Unit 1 is called This is Where I Live. In this unit we will talk about the environments around us, the village, the city, the buildings around us, and so on. Okay, so let's move directly to the next page. Lesson 1, my environment. Okay, so let's read it again together. My environment. Okay, this word has a silent letter. Okay, has a silent letter. This letter is silent. It's called my environment. Do you know what the meaning of environment? Environment is the place around us. Okay, everything around us is a part of our environment. Okay, our school is a part of our environment. Okay, the mosque, the church, everything around us is a part of the environment. Okay, so let's read the vocabulary together. Okay, number 1, vocabulary. Key vocabulary. Okay, key vocabulary is the most important vocabulary in this lesson. Okay, let's read it together. Environment. Okay, we have agreed that this letter is silent. Environment. Thank you. Okay, repeat after me. Building. Do you know what is the meaning of building? Okay, building. Your school is a building. Okay, the hospital is a building. The post office is a building. Okay, your house is a building. Okay, so there are tall buildings in this picture. For example, okay, city. In American accent, they say city. In British one, they say city. Okay, so but we speak in American accent. So city. Repeat after me. City. Okay, let's read again. Environment, building, city. Okay, let's go down. Village. Okay, village is the place where farmers live. Okay, a lot of farmers live in the village. They grow crops, they keep animals, okay, and they have a lot of farms in the village. Okay, oasis. Oasis is a green place in the desert. Okay, there are some plants and some animals, and they can get water through wells. They get water from underground through wells. Okay, in the oasis. Okay, river. Okay, for example, the Nile River is very famous here in Egypt. Okay, it's very important for the Egyptian people. River. Okay, it's a long, narrow canal that has a lot of fresh water. Okay, the river. So let's read again. Repeat after me, please. Environment, everything around us. Building, city. Thank you. Village. Oasis. River. Okay, thank you. Let's go down. Okay, wells. Do you know what is the meaning of wells? Okay, wells are holes in the ground that we can get water from. For example, okay, there are so many wells in the oasis. Where we can get a lot of water. Okay, wells, holes in the ground where we can get water to drink and to give water for the animals and the plants. Challenges. Again, challenges. Okay, this G is pronounced J. Sound. So challenges. Okay, challenges means difficult situations. Okay, so I faced a lot of challenges okay, during my journey. Challenges, difficult situations, a lot of problems that you overcome, okay, and succeed in your life. So you will face a lot of challenges in your life, okay, but you need to work hard to succeed. Simply, okay, simply is the opposite of complex. Okay, so this question is so simple. I've answered this question simply, okay, without any problems. Okay, so I think that challenges, okay, is a noun, it's a noun, and it's the opposite of simply. Okay, advantages. Okay, advantages means good things about something. For example, okay, the social media has a lot of advantages. It helps us to communicate with other people and so on. Okay, advantages. Okay, let's go down. Extra vocabulary. Neighbors. Neighbors are people who live next to you. People who live next to your house, they are your neighbors. Okay, villagers. Villagers are people who live in the village. Okay, the Nile River, N must be capital and R must be capital. Okay, because this place is so famous and there is only one Nile River in the world. Okay, yes, project. When the teacher or the English teacher or math teacher asks you to do something, okay, to do some research and get a lot of information about something, to write a paragraph about something, this is called a project. Okay, at the end of each unit we have a project. Good job. Okay, land. Okay, tent is a simple house in the desert, okay, where the Bedouin people can live. They put up the tent and they sleep inside it in the desert. Okay, let's go to the conjugation of verbs. We have two kinds of verbs, regular and irregular. Okay, in order to change the regular verbs from be in present to be in the past, we add d, okay, we add ed, and sometimes we add ied. Okay, yes, so let's read them together. Compared. Realize means to understand something. Okay, understand. Realized. Okay, farmed. When you grow plants, this is farm. Okay, farmed. Raise, when you raise animals. So farmers farm plants and raise animals. Okay, raised. We add d to change it from being in present to be in the past. We add d. Okay, adapted. When you change your lifestyle, when you change your characteristics, okay, to live in a different place, you adapt. Okay, when you move from a hot country to a cold country, you try to adapt and you wear a lot of clothes to protect yourself. Okay, this is adapt. When you change your lifestyle to adapt to another environment. Okay, flow. Okay, the Nile River flows through the desert. Okay, flow through the desert, flowed. We add ed to change it from being in present to be in the past. So these are the regular verbs. Let's move to the irregular verbs. Okay, choose, chose. Okay, so there is a simple difference between the pronunciation of choose in present and chose in the past. Thank you. Repeat after me. Right, root. Okay, we have changed I in present to be O in the past. Okay, right, root. No, new. No, K is silent, of course. New. Okay, understand in present, understood in the past. Thank you. Okay, keep listening and repeating with me. Let's move to the next page, page 11. Important expressions and prepositions. Let's read them together. Flow through. For example, the Nile River flows through the desert of Egypt. The Nile River flows through the desert of Egypt. Okay, travel on. Okay, do for living. So what do you do for living? I work as a teacher. Okay, I work as a teacher to get money. This is what I do for living. Okay, so farmers grow crops and keep animals. Okay, this is what they do for living, to earn money to live well. Different from. Okay, so teaching for students face to face is different from teaching students online like we do now. Thank you. Okay, so let's move to these definitions. Let's read them together. Number one, okay, city. What is the meaning of city? What is the meaning of city? Okay, city is a big place with many people, cars, and tall buildings. Okay, city, for example, like Alexandria, Cairo, okay, and so many places. So many cities. We have a lot of cities in Egypt. Al-Alamein, for example. So, city is a big place with a lot of people, a lot of cars, and tall buildings. Okay, this is a city. Okay, so let's move from the city to the village. Okay, so city is a big place, but village is a small place. Villages are smaller than cities. Okay, village is a small place with few people. Okay, in the city there are many people, but in the village there are few people. Okay, so village is a small place with few people and many farms. Do you know what is the meaning of farms? Excellent. Farms are places where we can grow crops and keep animals. Okay, yes. River is a long line, like the Nile River, is a long line of water that moves to the sea. So most of the rivers move, okay, until they reach the sea. Okay, for example, the Nile River, like we have just mentioned, and the Nile River, or all the rivers have fresh water. Okay, but the sea has salt water. Thank you. Okay, oasis. Oasis. Let's find out what is the meaning of oasis. Is a green place. Okay, green place, it means that it has a lot of plants. Okay, because plants make the place green. Okay, so oasis is a green place with water where? In the desert. So oasis exists in the desert. Okay, yes, buildings. Buildings are houses, our house, schools, or offices where people live or work. Okay, so this is a building where we live. School is a building where we learn. Okay, hospital is a building where we go to get treatment. Okay, so buildings are houses, schools, or offices where people work, okay, or live. Environment. Okay, environment is everything around us. Everything around us is an environment, like air, water, plants, and animals. Air is a part of the environment. Water is a part of the environment. Plants that we grow is a part of the environment, and animals. Okay, so after studying these definitions, let's read this very important part. Main points on listening and reading texts. Okay, what is the topic? Different places in the environment. Okay, we use these guiding words, okay, to make these sentences. So let's read the first sentence. Maha compared life in the city with life in the village. Okay, so Maha compared. Do you know what the meaning of compare? When you compare something to another, okay, you say what are the characteristics of this place and what are the characteristics of that one and how they differ from each other. Okay, for example, life in the city is different from life in the village. Let's compare between them. Life in the city is so noisy, but in the village is so quiet. There are a lot of tall buildings in the city, but there are few buildings in the village. Okay, this is how we compare between these two environments. Okay, so Maha compared in the past. Be careful. Okay, Maha compared life in the city with life in the village. Okay, Salma wrote in the past, and wrote in the past from right. Okay, wrote about the desert. Okay, another environment. People in the desert lived in tents. Okay, so these are the characteristics. Okay, this is the lifestyle of people in the desert. They live in tents. What else? They travel on camels. Okay, what else? They use wells for water. Do you know what the meaning of wells? Excellent. Wells are holes in the ground where we can get water, especially in oases. Thank you. Okay, so people in the desert lived in tents, traveled on camels, okay, and used wells for water. Okay, so let's move. People in villages live simply. People in villages live simple life. Okay, they go to the farm in the morning, they grow crops, they raise animals, okay, they feed their animals, okay, and they repeat these things every day. They live very simple life. Okay, yes. Villagers farm it. Do you know what the meaning of farmed? Yes, they grow plants, raised animals in the past, and knew all their neighbors. Okay, all people in the village, they know each other, they know one another because there are few people, okay, and they know everything about each other. And this is different from the city to the village. Okay, people in cities live in tall buildings like we do in Alexandria. People in cities live in tall buildings and had shops everywhere. There are a lot of shops, there are a lot of malls where they can go shopping in the city, okay, and this is not the case in the village. Okay, let's move to the last sentence. The project helped the students understand how people adapted to their environment, how people change their lifestyle to live in this environment and to feel happy when they live in this environment. Okay, so everything here, every sentence here in the past, compared in the past, wrote in the past, lived, traveled, okay, used, neighbors farmed, raised, knew, okay, people lived, had in the past. The project helped the students understand how people adapted to the environment. Okay, this helped us to understand that the grammar of this unit is the past simple or the simple past. Okay, let's move forward. Yes, are you ready to answer these questions? Okay, now stop the video and answer these questions on your own. Thank you. Welcome back. Okay, our school has two big space and a garden. Our school has two big buildings. Okay, because the school can't have cities. The school can't have oases. The school can't have rivers. It has two buildings. Okay, F or N space is everything around us, like air, water, plants, and animals. Excellent, thank you. Environment. Okay, so environment, I'm sorry. Okay, excellent, you're right. Environment starts with a vowel, so we have to choose an environment. That's amazing. Okay, Cairo is the capital space of Egypt. Cairo is the capital city in Egypt, okay, because Cairo can't be a neighbor. Cairo can't be a challenge. Cairo can't be a village. It's the biggest city in Egypt. It's the biggest city in Africa. The most crowded city in Africa. Okay. Farmers grow cotton and wheat in my village. Because we can't grow cotton in wells. There are holes in the ground. We can't grow cotton in the rivers. We can't grow cotton in the building, but we can grow in the village. Okay? Yes. You can find water and trees in space the desert. Okay. We can find water and trees in an oasis. Okay? And because oasis starts with a vowel. O. Okay, we can find water and trees in an oasis in the desert. Okay, because there are no rivers or seas in the desert. The Nile space is, of course, the Nile River, thank you. The Nile River flows through Egypt. Because Nile is a river. It isn't an oasis, it isn't a lake, it isn't a sea. Let's go down. People get water from space in the desert. Well done. People get water through wells in the desert. Okay, let's go down. Question number 8. My space, who lives next to us, is very kind. Who lives next to you? Well done. My neighbor, who lives next to us, is very kind. Okay, people in villages farmed and space animals. What do they do for animals? Yes, they raised animals. They gave them food, they gave them water and shelter, okay, and helped them grow. That's how they raised the animals. Okay, yes. Now, let's move to the second part of our lesson, listening and reading. Okay, listen and read. Different places in the environment. Okay, different places like cities, like deserts, villages, and so many places in our environment. This is a conversation between two girls, okay, who had a project at their school. Okay, let's read this conversation together. Yeah. Hi, Selma. Did you finish the project our teacher asked us to do last week? Yes, I did. I enjoyed it a lot. What about you? Okay. Next page. I worked in it with my cousin. We compared life in the city with life in the village. What did you choose? I wrote about the desert. I explained how people lived in tents, traveled on camels, and used wells for water. That's interesting. I learned that people in villages lived simply. They farmed, raised animals, and knew all their neighbors. And city life was different. People lived in tall buildings, used cars and buses, and had shops everywhere. Exactly. I realized every place had advantages and challenges. Yes, the project helped us understand how people adapted to their environment. Okay? Yes, let's answer these questions together. Okay, demonstrate understanding of specific details. Okay, it helps us to find out whether you have understand these details or not. So let's read. People in the desert lived in tents. Okay, people in space lived simply. They lived simply without a lot of problems. Yes, people in villages. Okay, now let's move. Okay, now let's move to general. Now let's answer these general exercises on lesson 1 together. Okay, number 1, listen and write true or false. Yes, listen please. Okay, Selma finished her school project yesterday. It took 3 days. Her cousin helped her a lot. She wrote about life in the desert. She searched for information online first. Then she wrote her project. Her project helped her understand many interesting facts about life in the desert. Okay, this was the listening text. Now let's answer these questions together. Okay, question number 1. Selma finished her project last week. Of course, it's false. Okay, because she finished her project yesterday. Excellent. Okay, number 2. Her cousin helped her a lot. Yes, that's true. Okay. She wrote about life in the river. Yes, of course. She didn't write about life in the river, but she wrote about life in the desert. Okay, so that's false. Yes. She searched for information online. Yes, that's true. Okay, now let's move to the second exercise. Choose the correct answer from A, B, C, or D. Let's read the first question together. People in the desert usually travel on, well done, camels. People in the desert have camels because they don't have a lot of roads, but they travel on camels. Okay, second question. I work at space the school project in the library or in the library. If you go back to the important expressions and the prepositions, you will find out that work on the school project. So with work we use the preposition on the school project in the library. Okay? Yes. Question number 3. A space is a small place with few people and many farms. And the majority of these people are farmers. Excellent. A village. Okay? A village. Because village starts with a consonant V. So a village is a small place with few people and many farms. Okay. They worked hard to solve their life. Okay. They worked hard. They did a lot of things and they worked very hard to solve their life challenges. Okay. We have agreed that challenges means difficult situations. And we need to work hard to succeed in our life and to face and solve the challenges. Okay, people lived small space, tall buildings. Okay, people live in. Okay, you need to go back to the important expressions and the prepositions to make sure that live in tall buildings. Okay, the Nile flows through Egypt. The Nile flows through the desert of Egypt. Okay, yes. Let's move to exercise 3. Okay, read and complete the text with the words in the box. Okay, tents, camels, neighbors, challenges, wells. Okay, let's read it together. Life in the desert is very different from life in the city. It has many space. Okay, people live in space. They use space to travel from one place to another. Okay, yes, people get water from the space. There are a few trees in the desert. Okay, so we have read the whole passage together. Now let's read it again and answer these questions. Okay, life in the desert is very different from life in the city. It has many challenges. It has many difficult situations. Okay, challenges. Okay, people live in tents. Okay, they don't live in houses. Okay, but they live in the tent which is made of cloth. Okay, they use camels. They use camels to travel from one place to another. People get water from the wells. Okay, there are a few trees in the desert. Okay, a few trees in the desert. Let's move to the next exercise. Exercise 4. Read the text and answer the questions. Let's read it together. Egypt has many different places. In the city, there are tall buildings, cars, and busy streets. Some people live in the desert, where they grow crops. Some people live in the village, where they grow crops and keep animals. The Nile River gives water to farms and people. In the desert, an oasis has trees and water. We must all help to protect our environment. Okay? Yes, let's answer the first question. The underlined word busy is the opposite of, okay, busy, it means that there are so many people in this place. Okay? So busy is the opposite of free. Okay? Yes. This text is about life in different environments. Answer the following question. What are there in the city? What are there in the city? So we need to go back to find out what are there in the city. In the city, there are tall buildings, cars, and busy streets. Okay, so we need to write in the city, there, comma, there are tall buildings okay, cars and busy streets. Thank you. So in the city, comma, there are tall buildings, cars, and busy streets. Okay, number 2. What do people do in the village? Let's go back to the passage. What do people do in the village? Okay, so in the village, some people live in the village. Okay, where they grow crops and keep animals. Okay, so you need to go back here to write they grow crops and keep animals. Okay, yes. So what does an oasis have? So let's go back again. Okay, yes. An oasis in the desert, an oasis has trees and water. Okay, so write it has trees and water. Okay, yes. Let's go to the punctuation exercise 5. The punctuation question is so important. Punctuate the following. So we need to start our sentence with a capital letter. We need to capitalize the names of people, days of the week, and so on. Okay, and we need to put a full stop at the end of the statement and a question mark at the end of the question. So let's read the sentence together. What did he learn about village life? So let's read it. What? W must be capital because it's at the beginning of the question, and we need to highlight it with 2 lines under it. So what did he learn about village life? Okay, and what is a question word? So this is a question. We need to put a question mark at the end of it. Okay, so number 2. The tall buildings are amazing. T must be capital at the beginning of the sentence. Okay, T must be capital at the beginning of the sentence. The tall buildings are amazing. Full stop. Because it isn't a question, it's a sentence. Okay, let's move to my favorite question. Okay, the paragraph is my favorite question, and I like to write a lot of paragraphs. Okay, and I will help you, we will help each other to write a professional one. Okay, so write a paragraph of 4 sentences. We will write more than 4 sentences using the words below. Okay, what is the topic? Different places in the environment. Okay, so let's find out together. We need to use these binding words: village, farming, raise. Okay, when you write the paragraph, you need to start it with an introduction. So this introduction consists of 1 or 2 sentences. Okay, after that you write the body paragraph. After that you write a conclusion. Okay, we will write these sentences using different colors. We will write the introduction using the orange color. Okay, we will make a space over here for just 1 word, and we will start with here. So in the introduction we need to write a general statement. We don't write any details, we just write a general statement. For example, okay, so there are many places in the environment around us. Okay, so we didn't mention any details. We just said that there are so many places in the environment around us. Okay, yes, some people live in the desert, live in the village, while other people live in the city. Okay, this is our introduction. Now let's compare between living in the city and living in the village. Okay, yes. Let's change the color using blue. Okay, in the paragraph we write more details about, okay, living in the city and living in the village. Okay, in the city, okay, there are tall buildings, okay, cars, buses, okay, and busy streets. Okay, but in the village, okay, the life is so simple. Okay, so there are few people and many farms. Okay, they grow plants and keep animals. Okay, other people live in the desert. Other people live in the desert, okay? They ride camels, okay? Get water, okay? Throw wells and live in the tent. Okay, so in the body paragraph, we have mentioned three environments or three places: the city, okay, the village, and the desert. Where the desert? Okay, live in the desert. Yes. Okay, so now we have mentioned these three places. Now let's move to the conclusion. In the conclusion or at the end of our paragraph, we need to give advice. We need to say our opinion, for example. Okay, so let's write the conclusion using red. Okay, we need to keep our environment, okay, safe and clean. Okay, now we get to the end of our session today. We have finished lesson 1 in unit 1 for junior 4. See you next video, inshallah. Goodbye.